Suseme panangit samu.
The Negro scientist now need neither to starve nor be condemned to a frustrating intellectual ghetto if he chooses pure science as a career, and one can see a promising future for his fresh and uninhibited imaginative power. Percy Julian. Welcome to Things You Should Know, People Edition. Today we'll talk about Percy Julian, the inventor and pioneer of many commonly used drugs such as cortisone, steroids, and birth control pills. Percy Julian was an African-American born to former slaves in Alabama in 1899. Percy recounted many incidents of the Jim Crow-era treatment during his childhood. This included finding a lynched man in the woods near his home, and the fact that he was denied access to high school in Alabama. Percy had one advantage, though. Although his parents were former slaves, both had graduated from Alabama State University. He was determined to get an education even though the law forbade him to go to high school. Percy applied and was accepted into DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana. Because of his lack of high school classes, Percy had to take evening remedial classes to get him up to the level of the rest of his college peers. Unfortunately, this wasn't his only problem. The town of Greencastle had enforced segregation. Percy was not allowed to live in the college dormitories, and even boarding homes refused to feed him. Eventually he found work firing a furnace and waiting tables. In exchange, they would feed him and let him stay in the attic. However, even with these challenges, he graduated the head of his class with Phi Beta Kappa honors. Upon his graduation, Percy accepted a position as a chemistry teacher at Fisk University. He worked there until 1923, when Harvard University awarded him a scholarship. There, he earned his master's degree, but came up against another roadblock as Harvard would not allow him, as an African American, to gain an advanced PhD. This was partially in fear of causing resentment among the white students. Percy searched around and found that things were not so restrictive in Europe. There he found in Austria the University of Vienna, which he started attending in 1931. While attending the Vienna University, Perry found that he had more freedom. He wrote to his friend Jacob Shohan, a professor of chemistry at Howard University. These letters were filled with stories of wine, women, and chemical experiments. Percy graduated from the University of Vienna in 1933, and with his newly attained PhD, was hired to teach at Howard University, alongside Dr. Shohan. The position at Howard University did not last more than a year because of a firestorm of drama caused by his letters to Dr. Shohan. Shohan had released the letters to the local African-American media in the area in response to a fight with Percy. At this time, a lab assistant sued Percy for alienating the affections of his wife. Because of all this, Percy resigned from Howard University. All was not bad for Percy, though. During this time, he married Anne Roselle, who had a PhD in sociology, and they both had 2 children. During this dark time, Percy's previous mentor, William Blanchard, got Percy a position teaching organic chemistry at DePaul University. While Percy was working and researching at the university, he created a drug to treat glaucoma. Unfortunately, even after his discoveries, DePaul refused to make him a full professor because of his skin color. Percy then left academia as he began to search out employment with corporations. He was repeatedly denied positions when hiring managers learned he was an African American. Eventually, the Glidden Company hired him to be a lab director. This worked well for Glidden as Percy utilized his knowledge and invented several things involving the use of soybeans. One of his inventions was aerofoam, a soy protein that was effective in putting out gas and oil fires. This was widely used during World War II and is believed to have saved many lives and a lot of equipment. His research continued into biomedical research using soybeans, where his main focus was synthesizing hormones. During this time, he received accolades for synthesis of cortisone, a major treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. By 1953, Percy had left Glidden to establish his own research laboratory, aptly named Julian Laboratories. He sold the company in 1961 and became one of the first African-American millionaires in the United States. He then went on to found the Julian Research Institute, a nonprofit organization that he ran for the rest of his life. In 1973, Percy was again recognized for his contributions to being elected as the first African-American chemist and only the second African-American overall to the National Academy of Sciences. He followed this award with a synthesis of physostigmine. This was used to treat glaucoma, but it was also found to help with the negative side effects of barbiturates, and it was shown to have signs of improving memories in Alzheimer's patients. This drug is recognized by the American Chemical Society as one of the top 25 achievements in the history of American chemistry. Sadly, Percy died of liver cancer in 1975.
suseme pangit sa